Hello Casiopians and welcome to Digital Casio. Today we'll be taking a look at the AE-1200WH. So this is a watch that was originally released in 2012 and as of 2020 it's still in production, and it is a particularly popular Casio. As of November 2020 there are 8 versions. There are 2 stainless steel bands, dubbed the WHD-1A and 7A. Then we've got 4 resin bands, which are the WH-1A, 1C, 5A and 1B. And then you've got 2 which are nylon and leather bands, which are WHB, 1B and WHB, 3B. There is also a copycat of this watch made by another company, and it's made of cheaper materials, but it has different color ranges, and it's also not as functional. But you may find that some people have modded this particular watch with parts from that watch. So if you see like a gold colored one, it's quite possible that it's a mod between the 2 brands and therefore not original. So just buyer beware when you're trying to look out for one of these watches. Personally, I don't think it's right to make a copycat version of somebody else's product, but hey, what do I know? So anyway, this is the WH-1AV and is a black resin cased version and has a resin glass crystal. So the LCD is split up into 4 sections, the top left being an LCA or liquid crystal analog display. The top right is a small window that shows you whether the mute, the alarm and the hourly signal is on. Below that you have a world map, and the bottom half of the watch contains the date and the time. So on the right hand side we have 2 stainless steel pushers, and these are quite big pushers actually. And the left hand side we have the same, 2 stainless steel pushers. And the band is also made of a black resin, and it has this loop, and on the buckle it says Casio. This band is particularly long and probably fit right up to a 10-inch wrist. It has a stainless steel back which is held on with 4 Phillips head screws. It is interesting to note that it says water resist of 10 bar, which is usually reserved for the Japanese market. So we can do an LCD test by pressing the right buttons and the bottom left simultaneously. And we can change the diagnostic modes by pressing the bottom right. We have one display here, and we have this number, and then it's back to the time. There is also a world time watch, so pressing this bottom right button does actually change the times on there as well. So the top right button is the backlight, and it is an illuminator and shines in this wonderful amber color. So we'll start by adjusting the date and time by pressing and holding the top left adjust button. We get this small beep and the seconds start to flash. Press the bottom right to reset the seconds. If you're past 30, then it'll advance to the next minute. Press the bottom left and we advance to the daylight savings time, which we can toggle on and off. And then next up is your city or time zone. So for this I'll set this up to Chicago, which is my local time zone. So press the mode button again and the hours start to flash, and we can use the top or bottom right buttons to go forwards or backwards. Press the mode again for the minutes and do the same again. Pressing and holding the buttons will advance fast. Next up is 12 or 24 hour format. I prefer 12-hour format. And then next up is the year. Now this goes from year 2000 to year 2099. So I'll set this to 2020. Press the mode again and we'll go to the month. So I'll set this to June. Next up is the date, and we'll set this to the 15th. So with the date set, we press the mode and we get the light. Now this can be 1 second or 3 seconds. I prefer 3 seconds, so that's set. Now our time is adjusted, and you notice that the analog display also shows the current time. So we press and hold this bottom right button and goes into demo mode, and what it really does is go through the 5 time zones that you have set up, and you see the little graphic on the world map there. And we can press any button to get out of this mode. So as I said earlier, this bottom right does have 5 time zones programmed into it, which you can adjust by pressing the adjust button. So I will change this one and move it forwards to Sydney. Press the adjust button and that locks that in place. Next one is London, which I want to keep. Then Paris, no, let's change that one. We'll set this one to Tokyo. So once we're done, press the adjust button again and that locks that in place. So another feature that we have here is a mute. We press and hold the bottom left button till it beeps, and mute appears in the top right hand display. So to put it back into beep mode, we press and hold the bottom left again, and the mute disappears from that top right hand display. So we'll take a look at the first function, which is the world time. So in this mode it can show you up to 48 cities in 31 time zones, which you can scroll through using the right hand buttons. The left hand adjust button activates and deactivates daylight savings times for that particular city. So next up is the alarms, and we can press and hold the bottom right to do an alarm test. This watch has 5 alarms and an hourly signal, which you can select by using the bottom right button. And once you're on the alarm that you want, press the adjust and that activates the alarm. So on this hourly signal you can see that SIG has appeared in the right hand top display. To set the time of the alarm, we press and hold the adjust button, and then to set the times we use the same combination of the mode button and the right hand buttons. So we'll set this to 3:35. And as I'm doing this, you'll notice that the ALM or alarm has appeared in the top right display. So once you're done, press the adjust button and that sets the time of the alarm. But you also notice that if you press this, it says off, one on and on. So one on means that it's once only, on means that it's daily, and off means that it's off. So let's head back to the timekeeping mode and wait for the alarm. So the alarm only lasts for 10 seconds and it's a 2 beep alarm. So the next function is the countdown timer. It's currently set to 0 seconds, so let's press and hold the adjust button to make a new time. And you can do seconds on this one, so we'll just set this to 5 seconds and let it go. And we'll use the start and the stop on the bottom right button. So it has a 10-second 3 beep alarm. So I'll set this back to 0 seconds and I'll show you that this has a 24-hour timer on it. So put this on 0, press start, and it starts counting down from 24 hours. Press stop again and press the adjust to reset back to 0. The next function is the stopwatch, and we use the bottom right to start and stop the stopwatch. And we use the adjust button in the top left to do a split time. The letters SPL flash when split time is active. Press it again to go back to the stopwatch. So with the split time active, we can press the stop button and the SPL stops flashing and we can see the 2 times. Press the top adjust button to reset back to 0. So that completes the functions of the AE-1200WH. As you can see, it's a very feature-packed watch. So let's take a look at this on the wrist. Well, this is a cracking looking watch on the wrist, and I have to say that this is one of those watches that would not look too big on a small wrist and not too small on a big wrist. So the designers have actually done a really good job. The height is also pretty good too. Okay, so this is the resin version, but it's still a nice looking timepiece and it's very comfortable to wear. The weight on this watch is just about perfect, coming in at 39 grams. So let's rate this watch. It has a functionality of 7, practicality of 9, quality of 6, rarity of 2, and collectability 9. This gives it a total score of 6.6 out of 10. In the 80s, the AE series was a very popular watch, sporting the twin graphs, but Casio discontinued the series after the AE-1200W in the early 90s. The series resurfaced again in 2010 with the AE-1000, but in 2012 the AE-1200 was launched to much acclaim. The metal version, the AE-1200WH, is somewhat similar to the James Bond Seiko watch, the G757 from the Octopussy movie, and has been dubbed the Casio Royale by fans of the watch. This has been by far the most popular standard digital watch in recent years, and is often the subject of modding to the extent that you can even buy an aftermarket all stainless steel case. While this is an awesome watch, it is still not in the same league as the 80s LCA watches, and watch collectors really want a re-release or even a new model that pays homage to the originals. It remains a mystery why Casio are not paying attention to the popularity of the AE-1200 and release an all stainless steel modern take of the twin graphs. Timex and Citizen have released classic watches. With that said, the AE-1200 is a modern classic, and for as little as $20 it's a no-brainer. So what do you think? Do you think that Casio should release a new twin graph for this millennium? And how much would you pay for such a watch? Leave a comment below and let Casio know what you want. Also, if you like this video, please consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell. Thanks for watching, I'll leave you with the specs, and until next time, ta-ra.